listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Vampire Diaries After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Vampire Diaries After Show.
No, I picked a different one. No, I picked a different song that was in the next episode.
Hey. Oh, I feel like I'm in like a vampire,
A vampire what, Jesse?
vampire club where I like. If you watch Buffy, there were people who would go and they would ask the vampires to drain them.
And then they slit and then they just jump.
No, the vampires just drink from them.
Fast your bad blood.
Anyways, what up, AfterBuzz? Your boy DJ Jesse Janedy here in studio with the lovely Roxy Striar.
Hello, good to be here.
Doing the Vampire Diaries, Promised Land. We're almost at our season finale.
We're almost at our promised land.
I don't know what they're going to be promising there because I'm a little nervous about where we're going to go.
Yeah, I am too. Absolutely. I mean, there's too many people on the line right now.
Mm-hmm. Too many big people.
Big people. I mean, the smallest one is Enzo, and we spent the whole season with him. So,
oh Lord, I don't know. It started off tonight. Damon is with the head of corporate accounts, Mr. Zeeks, who we find out is a traveler. He's torturing him.
I think it was Zykes like yikes because I wrote Zykes like yikes.
Torturing him to find Elena and Stefan. Caroline shows up.
Because he has a traveler inside him, because we find out that the travelers have pretty much infested the town over the last few years and nobody has noticed.
And then we find out that Markos will get rid of all of witch magic and only leave pure magic, which will basically in turn will kill all of the vampires.
Right. But it will allow them to have magic still.
Well, because they're pure
magic, right.
At the same time, we get Enzo bothering Bonnie to kind of bother Damon. You know, we get this whole Enzo trying to come back to life situation and kind of spark.
Bonnie's made up this whole story for the last few episodes. I mean, we saw Bonnie talk to Liv, and we know the conversation they had where Liv was like, say goodbye. There's no way of coming back. Bonnie took that and then told Jeremy that Liv was concocting some spell, plan, potion, whatever. And then it got back to Damon, and now Damon wants her to just take Enzo with her. Mm-hmm. So now we're there. We knew, though, that Bonnie ain't got anything.
Well, how'd you feel about...
Why are you giggling at me?
You just cracked me up. Bonnie coming out and telling Caroline that there was no spell tonight. Great person for her to tell, though.
Right, absolutely. It was a little confusing to me at first about why they were packing when they were going to die, but then we find out that this is like a disease that's spreading. So we're starting in Mystic Falls, and I was like, why isn't Caroline hurt? Because she's at school, so we haven't gotten there yet. But this is like, you know, the center spot, and then it's going to push out until it covers the entire world, I'm assuming. I thought that it was that Bonnie had to tell her, because how much longer is she going to wait?
And listen to Caroline being like,
yeah. I mean, we're here. The end is here.
Within that, we see that Bonnie and Enzo are trying to kind of work together. I mean, Damon kind of threw it on Bonnie like, hey, you got that plan. Why don't you figure it out?
Yeah. I just can't believe that Damon didn't stop to be like, Bonnie, what is that plan?
Well, he's got so much on his mind. I know.
He's just kind of pawning Enzo off right now, which is bothering me because I think Enzo should be a top priority.
I like that he pawned Enzo off on Bonnie because Bonnie is annoying to me right now in the sense of like, do something. Like, you used to be a witch. You used to research. You used to, like, try and find all these things.
Yeah,
like,
just because you aren't capable of casting the spell doesn't mean you don't have resources to find the grimoire, whatever it is.
I just wish we had a scene that showed Bonnie trying to cast a spell and it doesn't work.
Right.
Because I'm still left to believe, like, you know, watching the originals, well, if Davina can do it,
right,
why can't Bonnie?
And she is the one in the end that does think of some sort of plan, but literally every time we see Bonnie tonight, it's like that constipated thing where you sit and she's like, and I'm like, instead of just sitting there and like squinting and thinking, like, look through something, look through your old research, like be brainstorming with other witches, talk to Grams, whatever it is, like you're saying, do something.
Oh, Lord, I don't know what she was trying to do. I mean, I get it. She's scared and she probably has so much going on in her mind, you know, but that's why I like that Enzo was with her, because I feel like Enzo, that whole speech he gave about kind of like, I was locked for how many years and I
70
chose
something, yeah,
not to give up. So
I'm not going to give up until I'm sucked.
Right. So excuse me to think anything else.
Right.
I think Bonnie needs someone like that right now. I think because she's kind of giving up. We kind of see her. She's just kind of like walking around like,
yeah, she needs
not
a coach.
Doing anything,
she
not
needs a
saying
coach.
anything. Like, shake Liv down.
Yeah, get your head in the game. You have plenty of resources. It's time to use them.
On the flip side, we got Elena and Stefan being drained by Markos. That was a crazy scene.
Sometimes the show is a little much for me. Like, I'm all for sex and love and blood and guts and all of that, but, you know, I'm not watching HBO here, so I'm not fully prepared sometimes. And this show, the CW, I think they've gotten to a whole new level of graphic. Like, when who's the guy you love? Markos comes and slits her wrist open even more and is like, I'm not done until you can't speak. I was like, unnecessary. Like,
See, I like that stuff. Why it bothers me in this show is because I feel like they try to do too much with this show. It's like, what are you guys? Are you guys like the campy, like...
Yeah, know yourself.
Yeah, you know, are you the campy little high school? Are we moving into, like, you know, American Horror Story? Because it's like, it gives me I Know What You Did Last Summer a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
I feel like...
Are you 90210 just in the supernatural world? Or are you American Horror Story just with more love? Like,
I mean, I'm into the scary episodes. I like that. I think that...
You like when he takes it.
We're talking about vampires and werewolves. These things are supposed, in my imaginative mind, they're vicious. They live in a world of torture. You know, so if we're not seeing that, you know what I mean? There's a way to not show it on TV, but if you're going to dabble in it, you know...
I go back and forth.
Be fully committed with it.
Exactly. Like, I disagree with myself almost in the sense that, like, I do like those moments, but then I wish there were more. Like, it's just more consistency, you know? What are you? And then we have Damon, not tonight's episode, but making pop culture references about, like, Snooki or whatever. Like, what world are you in, and commit to that world? Because I don't want to just randomly see this blood pouring out. If I was more accustomed to it, it wouldn't be as, like, off-putting.
You know, for tonight, it didn't bother me that much either, just because I think they're trying to kind of get Markos's character across to us. He doesn't care, and he did that effortlessly. He just jabbed that quickly, and then we hear that he's not a comedian, that he doesn't like to joke at all. He has a very strong sense of why he's here, what his purpose is. So I like that part.
I'm not as invested in Markos.
That's what I look for in a guy. That's why I like Markos.
You're into the Markos, but I'm just not as invested in Markos as I was in Silas. And I know you got sick of Silas, and I know that a lot of people got sick of Silas, and I'm not saying I wish Silas was still here, because that storyline was clearly done with. But Silas, to me, was like this big, bad villain that everything came to, and Markos, it's like, all of a sudden he's here and I'm not as invested in him.
I mean, they kind of threw the story in at us. We get the travelers, and we're still kind of wishy-washy about the travelers. But now that I know, now we know from watching the originals to this, we have voodoo witches, we have regular earth witches, and then we have travelers, and
different families of werewolves.
Right, and good magic versus bad magic versus natural magic. the story's starting to come together to me.
Absolutely.
So, I don't think Markos will be gone.
See, that's what would bother me. I guess I can stick with him as long as he's going to stay. If we're about to lose him, I'm like, he came and went faster than I could care about him.
Yeah, it was almost like a fake bad guy of the week,
right?
monster
Exactly.
of the week kind of situation. Well, okay, so with Markos, so a positive thing about Markos, what I like about him, if we're going to take these travelers and demonize all of the travelers, which I don't think we're going to do because we've had some travelers.
We see Julian has some good in him.
Yeah, even though he rips Stefan's heart out, but that's all right.
His girlfriend died. Give him a pass.
Right. When you think about what Markos is doing, Markos is just so mad, and he's holding this. He's just trying to find this land for his people. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if maybe we'll be able to find
goodness in him.
Yeah, a balance for Markos.
Right.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Julian's girlfriend helps Stefan.
But Maria
helps Stefan escape. Then we get the scene of Elena and Stefan walking. They're weak. All their blood is drained. They need to kill squirrels to get the blood in their system so that they can heal themselves.
It's got to remind you of when Elena was first turned and Stefan was trying to be that guy for her who helped her only feed off animals so she never had, it's cool how it's coming full circle and she's eating off the squirrels again and it's just like not enough. I actually really liked seeing these two back and forth like this. It's obviously, you guys know that I'm such a Delana that it doesn't even cross my mind when they're talking. Like, I'm never like, ooh, sexually, I like this. But I do think they fit really well together. And for me, it's just such a friendship thing. But I do like their interaction here a lot.
Yeah, it was totally different. I was like, this is why you guys need to be together because look how great it is. Mm-hmm. They started talking about Caroline, though, which got awkward. If Caroline Forbes was here, we would both be laughing.
Yeah.
Awkward.
I thought it was a really perfect time for Elena to be like, what's the deal with that, by the way? I just wanted her to say that, like, what's the deal? Mm-hmm. And have him be like, what do you mean? Or whatever he was. But she already approached Caroline about it. And he was talking to her about Damon. So I felt like it was a really perfect moment and a missed opportunity. And I don't know why we didn't get that. It was
almost kind of like, well, why did we even bring her up?
Right, exactly.
I'm confused, Julie.
You like took it halfway there and then you were like,
took it away
never mind, yeah.
So maybe they're playing with the fact that I feel like it'll be kind of something that will be next episode at the very end. And it'll kind of be Elena's face like... like maybe Caroline and Stefan are going to kiss.
I thought this was going to be, I know I'm jumping ahead, but I thought this was going to be some sort of a once upon a time moment where true love's kiss brought him back and Caroline saw him down and I was like, no, like leans in to kiss him and he like,
let's pray to God. Let's thank
back in
God
him.
that did not happen.
I know. I was like, what show it exactly? But she's like, I was like, oh my gosh.
Megan, was it Maria? I'm sorry, excuse me. Maria comes.
I think it's Maria. Honestly, I don't know why I couldn't get this girl's name all damn episode.
It is Maria. Maria comes. She picks Stefan and Elena up off the side of the road. They drive into town.
And she was the one who had let them go.
Mm-hmm. And we find out that Liv and Luke, the elders are mad at them, and they need them to kill one of the doppelgangers.
Yeah.
Damn.
It seemed like they were picking Elena, though, and I'm kind of uncertain why.
Well, they're probably just like, look, girl, you done caused enough problems for everybody.
And I was very surprised that Stefan didn't say, pick me. I was very surprised. Because
I was kind of surprised by that, too.
You know what I mean?
Usually
he would. Usually he is always trying to save her. But this time, they were like, we got to pick one of you, and we don't really care which one. And if that had been Damon would have been like, kill me. And Stefan didn't say anything. And maybe he was like incapacitated at the moment because he's being like, I don't really know. But.
Well, because then was it then? When did they start dying? Oh, no, that was after.
Yeah, I was just surprised that when the car accident gets caused by these two witches and they're stuck in the middle and they're like, we really only need one of you. And then Liv starts like breaking Elena's bones or whatever on the ground. And Luke's like, just do it, Liv. And it seemed like they were going to kill Elena for sure. Mm-hmm. I was so surprised that Stefan just wasn't like, take me. I thought it was just another opportunity for for Vampire Diaries to show us like Stefan's still in this, and they didn't take that, so I was kind of surprised.
They go running. They find Matt at the bar. The magic starts going away. They start burning in the sun. Liv and Luke, they lose their powers.
Well, they start burning in the sun, so then they go find Matt. That's why they're
And so they go in the tunnels, and then they start dying the way that they were supposed to die.
Which was really cool. Which was really cool that they did that. I was wondering how they were going to show. And Elena starts drowning, and Stefan is shot. Which was like, I thought that was so beautifully edited and done that we see just really great job on their part. Mm-hmm. And it's always nice because we forget where these people come from and that they were people at some point. So it's always nice to get those little flashback moments of how they did die.
Just randomness. How did you feel about Pam the Traveler killing her husband?
I just didn't understand the necessity in it. We have a whole scene where she goes and she's like, I'm really Sam. And he's like, Pam, we need to get you help. And she's like, let me take these scissors and stab you in the head. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, God, that was funny. So Damon takes all the travelers'
bodies. Their original bodies, brings them to his house and leaves a note in which Markos finds that says, you were literally cackling. You were dying. It was just so funny because it was just the comedy of it. Found a cave of wannabe witches. For more info, called Damon Salvatore. I know.
It was just so funny because wannabe witches, of course Damon would say that.
And
after we hear the story of how Markos feels about witches and they're disgusting,
right?
And then he calls them wannabe. It was just funny.
The banter back and forth once Markos does get to Damon was so humorous that I was surprised that we ever were told that Markos didn't enjoy a good piece of humor because he seemed to play along.
Yeah.
I thought he was funny.
Very easily. Yeah. And he was. I think he cracked the first joke. So Markos shows up at Damon's house. We find out that he has the Salvatore house doused in gasoline.
Right. We also know that we have a apparent secret weapon in the basement. This was an interesting moment for me when we have Caroline talking to Julian. And Julian's like, if he's your ex-lover, then what the hell do you care? And she says he deserves to be fought for.
He's a person whose body was taken without him knowing. He deserves to be fought for.
He deserves to be fought for. And I just always am like, you go, Caroline. It could be just pretty much anybody there. And I think she would do that. To me, there was nothing sexual about that she wasn't looking for Tyler back because she was in love with him still.
Yeah.
It was like, this is my friend. And I just thought that was cool.
And so Julian works with Damon. Damon gives Julian the key. Julian shows up behind Markos, bites him, but then loses his fang because the magic starts the music. The magic starts disintegrating everything.
Mm-hmm. What happened to my fangs?
Markos knocks Julian away.
But what did he think was going to happen?
He outcasts Julian. Who?
What did Julian think was going to happen? He was going to bite his neck until he died?
He's a hybrid.
See, does he have the hybrid powers because he's in Tyler's body? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then as that happens, the travelers start waking up.
So if the travelers inhabit a vampire's body, are they vampires?
Yeah.
All right, got it.
Well, they can use that body
to do what vampires do. Got it.
Markos, which again I thought was kind of nice, allowed them to run away.
He was like, run while you can, bitches.
Oh, all right, you could have totally slaughtered us there, but thanks.
I just don't think...
Stand-up guy.
I just don't think he cares. I don't think he cares. I think
Markos?
Yeah, he cares about his people, and it's not that he wants to get rid of everybody. He just doesn't care. Be gone, you know? You're not my problem. My people are my problem. We're taking over, so run, little chickadees. And I also think he thinks it's fun to watch them suffer.
That's very true. We see Damon and Elena get another kiss scene. Go ahead.
Okay.
Relish in that.
I understand that it was a little typical, but I thought it was so freaking cute that she used his words back, because I've had a really hard day and I just needed it. And the kiss was, it makes me really miss this couple in real life, and I don't understand how they do this on this show because I feel awful for them. Like
that they have
Nina
to
and Ian, like they have to
over.
relive it every time. The way she grabs his face, I'm like, she's still in love with him. That can't be acting. Like, maybe it is, but like that kiss was, you know, when you're watching a kiss and you're like, God, I want somebody to kiss me like that. Like that's what it always is like for me. And I don't know, just the way that he looks at her back and was like, good for you. That like it's just so everything. I wrote down all capital letters.
She made
everything.
she made me rewind this.
Everything.
No, I didn't want to
I know.
rewind
And okay, I made him rewind it. This is what he does. He rewinds it and goes, oh, girl, please. And turns around and doesn't watch to make a point. I'm like, I get it, Stelena. I get it.
And then we had the conversation. You said, do you feel like when you see scenes of...
Oh, yeah, because I wanted to know. But because it's hard for me to... I really want to get in your mindset of somebody who is Stelena because... To me, I'm so Delena that it's hard for me to understand. So I was asking you about when you see scenes such as when Stefan and Elena are together and they're walking, are you excited about it? Are you thinking like, oh, I hope they kiss? Or are you just happy that they're spending time together, you know?
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever rooting for anyone to kiss except Caroline. I just want Caroline with a man.
Yeah.
I just do not want to play with this girl and Bonnie. I don't even care to see Bonnie and Jeremy make out, but I just want to know that those two girls are okay. Yeah. Elena has dug herself in too many ditches. If she by herself, then she by herself.
Right.
But in that moment today, it made me feel like, okay, good. Stelane is still there.
It's still
because
alive.
They still could. The comfortability. Every time you see Damon and Elena, like it has to be like this moment of like, epicness. Like I feel like they always try to create these epic moments where Stefan and Elena have had those moments already, and now we're at a place of rebuilding and just kind of seeing that friendship.
It is very
growing again.
Absolutely.
Because they never could be that open with each other.
It's interesting when you talk to people who are Delena versus Stelena because, there are different kinds of love, and I think these very clearly show the two different kinds. There is that kind that it's always love, hate, fight, scream, like make love, and it's just up and down, and you're extremists in every way possible. And then there's love where it's just like we don't need to create the drama, it's just love, and... What?
I mean, that just sounds like
better to you.
To me. I mean, yeah, I just got out of the other one, so
I know what you mean.
Elena, run.
And I've only had two boyfriends in the past, and one was one and one was the other. And I don't know. I think to me, it's
still thinking about that bad boy.
No, it might be not even, but it might be messed up. But I would rather like be the happiest person in the world one day and the saddest the next day than be relatively happy all of the time. Like I just think there's something to be said about both. So
Sure.
And I think it is just what kind of person you are. Maybe. And I don't know if she's made up her mind yet about what kind of person she is.
No, because I mean, I don't think she's fully seen who. I think she's fully getting to see who Stefan and Damon really are.
Yeah.
You know, like Stefan, I feel like we haven't even seen really all of Stefan because it's always been this real dramatic one where he's killing people, or this other one where he's like puppies and bunnies, and now he has to find that balance, which
absolutely. And Jesse, when you think about it, say you date somebody for a couple of years and all of a sudden they're telling a story and you're like, I didn't know that. When did that happen? They have 1,000 years of history.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And like you can't really know somebody until you learn everything they've been through. I'm sure they could sit down at a table for a week straight not talking about anything else except for timeline of events, and they would miss like
dating as a vampire. Like you cannot clock people on their baggage.
When people are like, you don't know me, like damn right I don't. How am I supposed to keep up with thousands of years?
Yeah, in the different generations, you kind of do have to become a different person. Some people think change is impossible. With a vampire, it has to be possible because, I mean, otherwise, how are you going to be the same person for all that time? How are you not going to grow? How are you not going to change? Or maybe the opposite of grow. What would that be? Shrink? Yeah, you can shrink as a person.
Poor shrinkage people.
Another moment was this Bonnie thing where Jeremy came in really quickly and Damon pulled Jeremy away. And Jeremy just kind of looked at her like, can't see you again today, babe. Like, sorry. And Bonnie's just looking like, I'm really going to die. I'm going to be so mad.
I know. I just don't see Jeremy being head over heels for Bonnie like I used to,
No, I don't either.
I wish I did because I want to be rooting for them so hard.
I put the blame on his fault.
Me too. I think it's a chemistry thing. I think it's honestly, not that I think he's talented, but
acting wise.
Yeah, I think it's acting wise. I don't think it's there, and I don't think he makes that spark.
He does seem very disconnected
to her. Yeah,
just in general as an actor. Now that I look at it,
I saw it more though with Vicky, or with and I saw it more with even.
Yep, I know who you're talking about, the ghost girl.
Yeah, the ghost girl. I honestly saw it more there. I don't see it with Bonnie, so I know that they're trying to make it such an epic thing, but I'm like, I just don't see it.
Well, how do you feel about the end where Julian comes up to Stefan and Caroline? Well, okay, I guess before we do that,
so let's
stick with Bonnie first. So in their plan, Enzo goes to meet up with Maria in the other world.
Maria.
And they're going to basically create the same spell.
And they're somehow going to get the travelers to off themselves or whatever.
And and pull Markos back into this world.
Right.
Maria gets sucked up, and there goes that plan.
Yep. Do you think at all, sorry to interrupt, but do you think that it's possible that this suckage place is a whole nother other side, like a whole nother world? So now Catherine and Vicky and this girl, like they're all in a suckage place.
I thought about that today because I'm just like, well,
like I feel like the point of the show is that you never are really gone. So
yeah, exactly. Like you have to go to another plane. Like
right.
There's always a way for you to come back.
Right.
I mean, I guess it depends on magic and powers. On the flip side that happened was Julian approaches Stefan and Caroline, finds out that Maria's dead, and he flips out. Caroline goes to snap his neck, and
I thought that was like so unlike her character. Yeah. I felt bad for her in that moment because that was, why did they write that? Why, like, that is so un-Caroline-esque.
Right.
That I couldn't even
believe that
was something she would do.
She probably felt Stefan was in danger, but within that, Julian pulls Stefan's heart out, and Stefan dies. Now, definitely did not think that was happening.
Yeah.
Part of me understands why it's happening. They need someone to be on the other side, so it's going to be interesting. Stefan and Enzo having to work together.
Right. I thought it was interesting because I could have seen Bonnie and Enzo both being off the show. So I was like, oh, this might not work, which made going into the finale very interesting because we didn't know if the plan would work. But there's no way in hell it's not going to work now because we have to get Stefan back. So obviously the plan works.
Right. Some plan is going to work because there's no way that Stefan's going to be gone.
Yeah, exactly. We're not losing him. So obviously it works in some capacity, but maybe we can only take one person with us, and that's how we lose Enzo, or maybe...
And that's a great way to go into predictions. Because I just wrote it down.
Now,
yeah.
Your AfterBuzz
you think that...
TV
I think Enzo and Stefan are going to be mad at each other. They're going to have to work together, and they're going to figure it out. And it's going to come down to...
It's gonna be May.
It's gonna be May. It's gonna come down to Enzo saving Stefan.
You think he's going to do that?
Yep, because I think he's going to humble himself so much and be like, you know what? You have a brother to go back to.
See, like, when we see that there are scenes from next week, isn't a speech like that something you'd be more interested in than these?
Oh, God.
We're just so over these scenes from next week.
Yeah, but if we see that speech, then we'll know that, like, right now we don't know if Enzo and Stefan are going to work together.
No, but them fighting or whatever, like, a relationship between them, just like this weird-ass music and them being like, we're blowing up the town, like...
Yeah, it comes off like a 30-minute sitcom.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, let us know what you guys think. We were saying that the I don't know when it started, but the previews for next week have been becoming very campy.
Yeah.
Like, and it just does not make me want to watch next week.
And I'm like, oh, next week's probably an awful episode. And then it ends up being great. And I'm like, why didn't Like, what?
It's just the tone of, for me, the tone of the show and the tone of the previews
Polar
are like
opposites.
two totally different shows.
I know.
Yeah, so
I completely agree.
that used to be my favorite part, was to see what's going to happen next week. Now I could give a damn.
Yeah,
because they don't even give us anything, because all we know is that
Damon
they
wants
might
to
be
blow up the
blowing
town.
Right.
And we see Markos with Sheriff Forbes, and I'm like, all right, that's what you are trying to entice me with? Like, okay, sure. But we know it's going to be amazing because it's the season freaking finale.
I know. And what do you think's going to happen with Bonnie?
I think that Bonnie will live, and I think that Stefan will live, and like you're saying, Enzo's going to die, but I don't think willingly. I think something with Damon. Damon's going to have to, like, choose between the two of them, but and obviously he's going to choose his brother.
That back on Damon again?
I think so.
Ooh.
I think so.
I don't think that they would do that to Damon's character right now.
Maybe
I think
not.
it's more against. I think it's more about Stefan and Enzo and proving something to Damon.
Maybe.
And I hate to say this because I love Stefan, but I feel like by Enzo letting Stefan live, it kind of shits on Stefan a little bit more, because it's like, you killed him and he saved you.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing I'm thinking, though, having to do with Stefan, is that I do think we're going to see a Stefan Caroline moment.
Next week,
Next
you're
week,
saying.
the beginning of a month. They're not going to have sex, but
a
like,
kiss.
Yeah, the
Or a
last thing we'll see the
handhold.
two. Yeah, I think a kiss.
A kiss.
I think we're going to get a kiss.
And what's going to happen with
Or
Markos?
her being like, I'm into you, and him being like, me too, but we can't do this. Something where they show each other. Acknowledge that
it's more than friends.
That it's mutual. Yeah.
And then Markos.
I honestly think he's gonna die, which is gonna piss me off because I'm not ready to let him go.
But what is going to be the cliffhanger to next season?
What?
Because, I mean, think, it has to be something really big. Caroline and Stefan happening.
Maybe they're not quite back from the other side. Maybe the cliffhanger is like, only two of us get to come back. Who is it going to be? The cliffhanger, and we're going to know who it is because they're signed on as series regulars.
So do you see Bonnie being able to come back?
Yeah.
And will she be the gate? Will she be that anchor?
I think if she comes back as a witch.
Yeah?
I'm hoping.
I hope so too, because we need that witch power back.
Over you, Liv. Over you.
I'm so over
Okay,
Liv.
I'm not as over her though as I am over Luke. Oh, something about him just bothers me.
Really, I like Luke, especially after today. He's gaining trust. Like, he seems like the good-hearted person. Like, she's like killing Elena. Like, no hard feelings. Like,
I know,
bitch, when I bite you
annoying.
in the fucking
I
neck.
know. She was annoying too. That's what Elena says to her. She's like, "Oh, magic not working, burnt out." Yeah. They both annoy me at this point, and because they're not our villains to focus on, I'm like, you're a weird side story. Like, you keep talking about your coven. Maybe next season that's the big thing.
Right.
Like who's your coven? You two of you are
let's
just.
not talk, because maybe that's what we're gonna get next week. Maybe we are gonna get witches versus travelers.
Maybe, but I just think it's weird. Like, our coven, and then he's like, "Stop doing that to me." He's like in pain. She's like, "It's not me." Like,
But what does it mean that the spell stops now that a doppelganger's dead? Because wouldn't they all get their powers back? Like, why are they trying to blow up the town? Why, the spell shouldn't be working anymore? Like, the other plane should be fine.
What do you mean?
Stefan's dead.
Stefan's not. Oh, he's dead for a second.
I mean,
So it
at
should
this
stop.
moment in
Oh
time.
yeah. Maybe that's what does pause it and puts it on hold for a little bit, and we're about to see it on hold. That's a good point, because he is dead, and so maybe the travelers are going to work to get Stefan back to life, and they're going to decide that they will give themselves up so Stefan can come back, but only for Stefan.
Wow, that would be some deep-ish.
Yeah, that's definitely, because we know 24 of them have to give themselves up or whatever, and now they're going to do that. We just figured it out.
Hopefully. Well, on that note, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. We need to hear what y'all think
Yes, please.
is going to happen next week. Make sure you guys hit us up at AfterBuzz TV on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and tweet us. Let us know what the hell going to happen. You can tweet me at DJ Jesse J.
You can find me at Roxy Striar.
Until next week, same time, same place. Peace.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.